distinguished guests, ladies
אורחים
and gentlemen,
נכבדים, גבירותיי ורבותיי,
Mazal Tov Yeh Shalom Aliyam. To be able to come here
כדי שאוכל לבוא
and speak to
לכאן
this great democratic assembly
ולדבר
at the
לאספה
invitation of your
הדמוקרטית
speaker
הזאת
and your
על פי
prime
ההזמנה של היושב ראש וראש
is a
הממשלה
singular
אולמרט,
honor indeed.
זהו ללא
even
ספק
a
כבוד
greater
גדול,
honor
זה
to be
אפילו
able to
כבוד גדול
applaud
עוד
you
יותר,
And to
למחוא
congratulate the
לכם
citizens of
כפיים ולברך את אזרחי מדינת ישראל על האומץ שהוכחתם, על הפקלות ההפוכות, על הנחישות בעת הסכסוך, על הגמישות שהוכחתם כשהיו אתגרים. מדי יום, כשאתם נפגשים בכנסת, אתם חיים הבטחה של מאות בשנים. אבל אני שמח במיוחד כראש הממשלה הראשון שפונה לכנסת לברך אתכם לרגל 60 שנות קיומכם על ההישגים של שנת 1948. מאות שנות גלות נסתיימו, החלום בין מאות בשנים הוגשם, ההבטחה שאפילו אם תסבלו תמצאו את דרככם הביתה לחוף מבטחים שבו היו אבותיכם. ואותו מסע של 60 שנה של עצמאות מעיד לעיני העולם כולו שמימים קשים יכול לצוץ דבר טוב ושרוח האדם נחושה. ואני מבקש לומר לכם, בני ישראל היום, בריטניה ידידת אמת שלכם. ואני מבקש לומר לכם, בני ישראל היום, בריטניה ידידת אמת שלכם. כל אימת שאתם תחת איום. ידידה המבוססת על ערכי דמוקרטיה, חירות וצדק. ולאלה אשר בטעות קוראים בצורה מחרידה.
Obviously we've got a slight technical problem because we are getting the translation. We are trying to sort that out. We're going to stay with this because we can make out what Gordon Brown is saying, and we will try and sort out that technical problem as we listen to him.
זמן קצר לאחר 1948, זו עיר קטנה, קקאודי, במזרחה של סקוטלנד. קקאודי היא מרחק 2,000 מילים מירושלים, אכן כרוכות יחדיו בעיניי, לא מבחינת הנוף וגם לא מבחינת מזג האוויר, אבל מבחינת ההשפעה של הימים הראשונים שלכם על ילדותי, כפי שנאמר על ידי מר אולמרט.
And had a deep and lifelong affection for Israel. For 3 decades, he was a member of, and again chairman of, the Church of Scotland's Israel Committee, and he travelled back and forth to Israel twice every year, often more. And as was said earlier, after each trip, he would return home, roll out an old film projector. He would plug it in and load the film. More often than not, the projector would break down. But he would always get it back up and running. And I will never forget those early images of your home and my home and the stories my father would tell. So as I learned to listen and to read, I followed the fortunes of an age-old people in a new country. And there never was a time as I was growing up that I did not hear about, read about, or was not surrounded by stories of the struggles, the sacrifices, the tribulations and the triumphs as the people of Israel built their new state. And I'm proud to say that for the whole of my life, I've counted myself as a friend of Israel. My sons are very young children. They're just 2 and 4. They have not yet made that journey to Jerusalem made by their grandfather and then his sons. But one day soon, I look forward to bringing them here to see what their grandfather first came to see in the early years of statehood. I will walk with them here and I will tell them the story that for 2,000 years, until 1948, the persistent call of the Jewish people was next year in Jerusalem. Yet for 2,000 years, there was not one piece of land anywhere in all the world that you could call your own. For 2,000 years, not one piece of land of your own to follow your faith without fear. For 2,000 years, you had history, but not a home. For 2,000 years, you lifted the artistic and cultural life and the scientific and political development of every continent, but had no home. For 2,000 years, you endured pogroms, and then the horror of the Holocaust, because you had no home. Yet for 2,000 years, nothing, no prison cell, no forced migration, no violence, no massacre, not even the horror of the Holocaust could ever break the spirit of a people yearning to be free. And you proved that while repression can suppress, it can never silence. While hearts can be broken, hope is unbreakable. While lives can be lost, the dream could never die, that in the words of the prophet Amos, justice would roll down like a river and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Never free of trouble, always facing adversity. Yet what remarkable success Israel has achieved during these years. You've created modern Hebrew as the language of daily life. 8 of your citizens have been awarded Nobel Prizes. Alongside Silicon Valley, you now have your own Silicon Valley. You have made world-famous hospitals like Hadassah, leading centers of learning and research like the Weizmann Institute for Science. With 8% of your national income invested in education, you have one of the most highly skilled and educated populations on earth. From draining the swamps in the 20th century to now pioneering electric cars in the 21st, your history of ingenuity is a lesson in the boundless capacity of mind and spirit. No nation has achieved so much in such a short period of time, and to have accomplished all this in the face of the war, terror, violence, intimidation and insecurity is indeed truly monumental. To paraphrase what one poet once said, you were born against the odds. You survived against the odds. You grew against the odds. You have prevailed and flourished against all odds. You have proved that men and women of idealism and bravery and perseverance can succeed whatever the odds. And I'm proud that the British Jewish community and the British people have had a distinguished place and a part in your great endeavour in these recent years. Today, I believe our partnership is strong and it is getting stronger. From pharmaceuticals to telecommunications to electrical equipment, we are agreeing new cooperative ventures every day. The best minds in our two countries are working together in academia and the arts, in sport and music, in science and technology. And Prime Minister Ormond and I were able to announce yesterday path-breaking academic and cultural partnerships between our two countries. And I want to make it clear that the British government will stand full square against any boycotts of Israel or Israeli academics and their institutions. Yesterday, my wife Sarah and I visited Yad Vashem. And even though I was familiar with the harsh and horrific facts, even though I've studied, indeed have written about, the fight against the Holocaust and Jewish persecution, not just the fight carried out by Jews, but the fight also by non-Jews, the fight by Dietrich Bonhoeffer that I've written about, described the rescue of Jews by men like Raoul Wallenberg, spoken about help given to Jews facing the death march by young Scots prisoner of war Tommy Noble, given lectures on women like Jane Haining who came to the aid of girls, visited the old Yad Vashem and indeed the memorials in Washington and Berlin. I can tell you that nothing fully prepares anyone for what we see at Yad Vashem. The full truth of the murders that no one prevented, the indignities that should never have happened, the truth which everyone who loves humanity still